Welcome to the Urban Mobility Book Review Series. Each episode picks a book, explains why you should read this book, gives you the big picture, and outlines the key concepts, all in a nutshell. Today's book, Traffic: Why We Drive the Way We Do and What It Says About Us. By putting us behind the wheel, Tom Vanderbilt shows us the hidden psychology of what drivers face and how this relates to the urban design of cities. As urban mobility professionals, we often criticize the automobile as the problem to all of our city planning nightmares. But we forget to remember what it's like to actually drive a car. And that's why this book is so important to take us behind the wheel again. In understanding what it is like to drive and what are the problems facing drivers, we can also better understand then how to remove the driver and the vehicle from the urban environment. From traffic engineers to drivers to researchers, he goes around the world in search of more facts and tidbits that are applicable to different environmental and urban design atmospheres. We need to remember that it is actually very unnatural to be driving through an environment at over 100 kilometers an hour. And this is one of the reasons why our cities have evolved to accommodate ever larger roads and larger freeways. It's to make driving, which is actually a very complicated and dangerous thing, into a much safer act. But in doing so, we've also destroyed the centers of our cities that should be actually more catered to slower speeds, such as pedestrians and cyclists. Tom Vanderbilt makes an observation between the similarities in which we treat the term weather and the term traffic. In page 7, he mentions, quote, "The news lumps together traffic and weather as if they're both passive forces largely outside our control, even though whenever we are complaining about it, we do so because we're part of the traffic." This quote points to the powerlessness that we feel over the weather and over traffic, even though, as Tom Vanderbilt points out, we are part of the traffic that we are creating. Perhaps you also want to read this book for the economic insights that it provides into our mobility system. For example, what is the cost of traffic congestion? He says, quote, "People seem to be willing to accept much of the delay instead of paying to eliminate it. Some models measure the cost of congestion against a hypothetical ideal of a major city in which all commuters could move at a free-flowing speeds during rush hours. However, in reality, this free-flowing utopia in city centers never exists. So this hypothetical economic discounting of traffic congestion is probably not realistic. And if traffic congestion shouldn't be discounted so much, then why are we building roads in the first place? We're also introduced to the various perverse consequences that safety measures have introduced into our traffic system. For example, quote, "Safety features meant to reduce the consequences of driver error encourages drivers to drive in a way requiring those generous safety provisions. For example, if you widen a road, then people are tempted to drive faster due to the psychology of driving a car. But then, as you drive faster, that increases the severity of crashes." Now, if we bring together ideas from both traffic engineering and driving psychology, we can come up with some very interesting ways to change the way that we build our streets. For example, traffic calming doesn't necessarily have to mean speed bumps and stop signs. Quote, "Put a child's bike on the side of the road instead of a speed bump. Hang a weird sculpture instead of a speed limit sign." End quote. People inherently drive safer when they think there's children around, and also the provision of engaging environments help people slow down by showing that, hey look, this environment is really designed for people. Despite a very light-hearted and fun read, this book does a great job of weaving together a great narrative with research and first-hand accounts from professionals from all around the world. For example, Donald Shoup, the famous professor who writes about parking, makes an appearance in this book. And also he takes from professionals some first-hand accounts from places like Sweden, the Netherlands, and Denmark about how exactly things have happened and evolved in these respective cities. And what this book provides is also a comprehensive list of references at the end of the book so that you can look further into each of the topics. And that's Traffic by Tom Vanderbilt. Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Urban Mobility Book Review Series. And for more content like this, hit the subscribe button and ring that bell.